guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this really super cute puff stitch flower. And as you can see, I used this for an adorable little blanket here. So you don't need much, and I'm just using a little some of my leftover scraps here to show you. You can do it all in one color, or you can do them in a couple of colors. But they both come out really, really sweet. So here we go. So you'll need whatever type of yarn you like. I'm using a medium size 4 weighted yarns. Obviously, the heavier the weight, the larger your flower is going to come out to. So you'll need that. I'm using 2 colors so that you can see what's happening. And of course, you'll always need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. And for this particular project, I am using a 5mm hook, if you can see that. So here we go. Okay, so we're going to start with our center first. And we will begin with a slip knot. There's many different ways of doing a slip knot. We do have a tutorial on how to do that if you are still a little bit unsure. So we are going to begin by chaining 4. So you'll yarn over, pull through once. There's 2, 3, and 4. Once you've chained 4, you're going to go back to your first chain, insert your hook, and you're going to slip stitch into that first chain. So that's going to create a little circle, and don't worry, it is going to be a little tight. I'm just going to insert there so you can see. So that is going to be the center of our flower there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we are going to do 12 single crochets into the center of our little circle there. So we're going to insert into the center of our ring, yarn over to pull through, 2 loops will be on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So that's your typical single crochet. We're going to do 11 more of these into the center of our ring. There's second, there's third, and you're going to go all the way around until you have 12 of these. And as you can see, I'm working over my little tail there so I can bury it into the center of my flower. And I have 1 more to go, and as you can see, it's getting pretty snug here. Okay, so you're going to have to just push these aside a little bit so you can squeeze that last one in there. And if you're ever unsure, make sure you count. I have counted, so I know I have I have 12 single crochets. So you can see that creates a really pretty little ring. And then what you're going to do is you're going to find that first stitch, which is right there, and I'm going to make sure to go into both, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. And I single crocheted 12 full times as opposed to counting the chain 1, just to make it easier for me to see. So I've slip stitched into the very first single crochet, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip my yarn, and then I'm going to pull through and fasten off here. And there we go. So that is the center of our flower. You can continue to maybe weave the rest of this little tail in, or you can cut it off. It's pretty secure there. You can continue to work over this one, or weave it in, whatever you like. So once you have your center, it's going to look something like that. Now, in my case, I like to change colors. So I'm going to now bring on this really pretty lilac-y purple color. And this is a slightly different type of yarn. It's got a bit of a nylon mix into it, but it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to start with a slip knot. And then I'm going to pick up my center here, and I am going to secure my yarn by doing a slip stitch, and I'm going to start right there. If it will let me. Sometimes it can be a little finicky. I'm actually going to start right there, nice and easy. So I'm going to slip stitch to secure. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 4. Okay, and I want my petals to be a little bit taller, so that's why I'm going to chain 4. Some people might chain only 3, some might even do only 2. I'm going to do 4. Once you've chained 4, we're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert back into your first stitch where you slip stitched. Make sure to get your short tails out of the way there. You will pull through, and you're going to stretch that up nice and loose up to, you know, similar to the height of that chain 4. Okay. Once you've done that, we're going to, and I just like to kind of use my finger here to secure, and I'm going to then yarn over again. Oops. And I'm going to go back into that same stitch, pull through and pull through. So I've done that twice. I want to do it a third time. Yarn over. I like to just secure it there. Insert to pull through. So now you're going to have basically 7 loops on your hook. Okay, you're going to keep that on there. You'll yarn over again, and now you're going to go into the next stitch, the stitch right next to it. Don't know why my camera is not focusing. There we go. The very next stitch right beside it, you're going to do the same thing. You'll pull through and pull up, keeping it nice and relaxed. You can do that 3 times. So that's 1. Back into that same stitch. That is 2. Back into that same stitch. That is 3. So now you will probably have, I believe it's 13 loops on your hook. That's a lot of loops. So keeping your hook part down, you're going to yarn over, and then you want to pull through all of these loops. That's why it's important to keep the hook down so that you don't catch any of the other loops on the way. So you just pull it through, and that's why it's important to keep it loose, including the very last one. So then you'll chain 1 to secure and chain 1 again. And there is your very first petal to your puff stitch flower. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you are going to slip stitch into the very next stitch there. So you can see it's right there. And I'm going to keep my short tails out of the way. I'm going to pull that through. Whoops. See, that's why it's important to keep it out of the way. And slip stitch. Okay, and don't worry that it's scrunching down like that. If you turn your flower over, ta-da, creates a little bit of a puffy little bobble there. And this is actually going to be the front of your flower. So that is totally normal for that to look like that. Okay, so you've slip stitched, and now we want to chain 4 to begin a new petal. So we're starting this process all over again. So we chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to give us the height that we want. Now we're going to yarn over, go back into that same stitch, pull through and pull up. Again, I use this finger to secure that because it's easy for these loops to start shrinking, and because as we pull through, there's nothing else to secure them. So use that finger to secure there. You'll yarn over again, insert, pull through for a second time. Remember, I'm doing this 3 times every time. And insert and pull through again. So, just get a bit more yarn here. I'm now going into the next stitch to do the same thing again. I'm going to yarn over, go into the next stitch next to it, pull through, whoops, see, I'll let go there. That's once, secure, insert, pull it up through twice, yarn over, insert, pull it up 3 times. Now you're going to have all these loops on your hook. Okay, you'll yarn over, remembering to keep your hook portion down because you want to slip it through all of those loops. Oops. There we go. Then you chain 2. Okay, then we go into the next stitch right there, and we secure the end of that down with a slip stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to pull that up. So again, if I turn this over, now you can really see what's happening. So this is the puffy side of your flower. And I'll have to just snip that off in a second. So your chain 4s are coming up around the top of your petals, and then you've got this really pretty puff, fanned out puff situation with all your strands. So I know it still doesn't look like much, but what you're going to do is you're going to continue to go all the way around. And because we are basically doing this with 2 stitches for each petal, you're going to end up with 6 petals all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you just getting close to the end there to show you how to fasten off your puff stitch flower. So remember, to begin a new one, a new petal, you always chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for your height. Yarn over, insert back into your first stitch there that you used, pull through and up, really nice and relaxed there. We do that 3 times, so we go back in for a second, pull up, go back in for a third into that same stitch. Once we've done it 3 times, we're going to go into the very next stitch. So we yarn over, go into the next one, and repeat. We pull it up once, we pull it up 2 times. You can see it's getting a little snug there. Yarn over 3 times, and then yarn over and pull through all of those loops really gently. You don't want them to snag. Chain 1, chain 2, and then you go into the very next stitch right there, and you slip stitch. So see, now you can really see it starting to take shape. I'm just coming up to the end of my last petal, and I'm going to pull through all of these loops. Chain 2, and then I'm going to go right into this next stitch here. This is the one that's a bit tight, so you're just going to have to be patient, just like sometimes I need to be patient with this camera that doesn't want to focus. There we go. So I'm going to go right in there. Be a little testy. There we go. And then I'm going to slip stitch. There we go. To secure that last petal down. Okay. And then I'm just going to snip my yarn. And depending on what you're going to do with this flower, how much you snip off will depend on how you're going to attach this to your project. But for in this case, I'm just going to pull that through. And there you have it, guys, your puff stitch flower. And it looks something like this. So you can see it's got the 6 petals, and you've got your center there. So your chain 4s are sitting on the outside. And you can just pull them out like that to create a nice, pretty effect. And that's it, guys. I hope you found this fairly easy and simple and fun to do. So here you are, your puff stitch flower. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to give us a little thumbs up and press subscribe so you'll be up to date on all of our free tutorials that we offer, as well as if you like listening and watching to some of our stitch session conversations. In the meantime, have a great day, everyone, and happy crocheting. Take care.